Well, hello there. Welcome back to Actually Aubery. We have got the beautiful, lovely Tiffany in the house.
Yay, 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 yay. Oh, Aubrey, you went out.
I've got a hold on.
Okay, there you go. You sound
Hold
good
on. I've
now.
got a window open. Hold on.
All righty.
Okay. Sorry about
Okay.
that, guys.
All right.
Yes. Hey there. So how are you today, Tiffany?
I'm well.
Oh,
I
that's
truly
good.
can't complain.
Well, you were one of the cast members from this season from Ready to Love Potomac. What
Yeah.
was that like? Well, wait a minute. Let me back up. I'm sorry. I'm jumping in because I'm excited to get to that part. But the first part, could you tell us a little bit about where you were born and where you're from? Were you born in DC?
No, I am from Southern Virginia, a small city called Emporia, Virginia. It's where I was born and raised.
Okay.
And after high school, I went to Virginia State University, which is not too far from home. It's about 30 minutes from home.
Okay.
And I lived there for quite a while, about 15 years. I just moved to the DMV about 5 years ago.
Okay, so you're a relatively new transplant. What made you decide to move to the DMV?
Well, I have a lot of family in Maryland. I have
Hmm.
always spent a lot of time in the area, and my family owns a restaurant in Silver Spring, Maryland. So that was part of the reason, or mostly the reason that I relocated here to help with the restaurant.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I love Silver Spring. I love it. My daughter's around the area, Gaithersburg,
Yeah.
Maryland. Yeah, yeah. She's been in DC now. I guess what, maybe 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. She moved there with a
Okay.
pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
But yeah, very nice area. So,
Hey,
um,
Tiffany, what kind of cuisine at the
yeah.
restaurant you guys serve?
We have a New England style, so there's a lot of different seafood choices with a
Ooh.
southern soul feel to it. My brother is the executive chef there, so most of the menu
Ooh.
items are from scratch, straight from his brain and his talent. So it has a mix of soul there because we're southern. So
Okay.
Ooh,
Well, as
nice.
Aubrey and I always do at the end of the show, we're gonna let you put that on blast and
okay,
get people to that restaurant. You
sure,
know.
sure,
Right,
sure.
absolutely. If you're willing to share that, we definitely want to hear more about it, especially since I'll be visiting there. So I definitely want to hear more. I love
Mhm.
seafood. I love it.
Great.
And we want to say hi to all the chatters out there. We see one of our faithfuls, Monique King, says thank you for
Hello,
joining. And she's telling people to go
hello.
ahead and hit that like button and welcome the beautiful Tiffany. Yes, yes, yes. So like what was it like growing up? You were in a small town, so was it, very like a family oriented type of town?
Family oriented, very small. Everyone knows everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are related in some way or another. Um,
Okay, okay.
yeah, yes. We grew up with, I think it's maybe a total of 3 or 4 stoplights and a Walmart. There's no mall, there's no movie theater, there's no bowling. Um,
Okay.
Most of our recreational activities were outside of the city in Petersburg or Richmond, Virginia. Or you could go to Virginia Beach, the 757 area. And we're about 15 minutes from the North Carolina line, so we would spend a lot of time in
Oh,
North Carolina as well.
okay. It sounds like you're in the same area. Okay, and now I get a real sense because I when you said Southern Virginia, I really wasn't sure. But you're not far from you weren't your town wasn't far from Virginia Beach.
No, about an hour and a half away.
Oh, about an hour and a half. Okay, but so it's kind of cool because you were able to, if you wanted the bigger city feel, you
Yep.
could go drive to the
Mhm.
the bigger cities. But I don't know. I kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it's me because I grew up in a big city. I'm from Detroit, born and
Okay.
raised in the Detroit area, and and I still live in the Metro Detroit area.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny though because, but growing up, I was a part of a smallish, medium-sized church family,
Okay.
and that was my whole life, was like, the church and these families that were within the church. So I kind of get what you're saying because even though I grew up in a big city, I always felt like, my whole life and my whole world as a child was basically within the church and school. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's.
and I know
Mhm.
Emporia very well, Tiffany. You're right above Franklin.
Yeah.
You're right by 95 to hit
Yeah.
Carolina. I know exactly where you are. I know
Yeah.
exactly where Emporia is because I go through there all the time on my way to Carolina.
Okay.
Because you right off of 50, take 58 right to 95.
Yeah.
Hit 58.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I know
correct.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So what was life like? I'm still in these preliminary years. I gotta find out. So what was life like, say, when you got to from middle school, making that adjustment to high school? Did you decide that you wanted to maybe play sports, or were you more of the cheerleader type? Tell us about, just how things were when you were a teenager.
I was always a girly girl. I still
Mm-hmm.
am. So I was always a cheerleader, of course. My mother kept us very busy. As a child, I was in ballet, piano lessons. And once I got to middle school, of course, I was a cheerleader. And transitioning to high school, I was a cheerleader the entire time. I played tennis, volleyball.
Wow.
Always stayed very busy. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And so you just knew that you wanted to go off and go to college, and maybe you thought your thoughts were at that time that, okay, I'll go off to college and maybe I'll study what exactly?
So education is an expectation in my family. Both of my parents were educated, so that is something that was like, all right, what you gonna do? It wasn't always you got to go to college, but it's okay. Where do you want to go in life? What's your path? I come from a family of educators. My grandfather was a principal. My grandmother was a teacher. My mom, my sister, my uncle. So education was always instilled in me as a child. So when I went to Virginia State, I majored in education and I became a teacher from that point. I always knew that no matter where I went in the world, no matter where I was, I would always be employed as a teacher. I always knew that background would solidify a foundation in my career. I love to try new things, so I knew that's not where I always wanted to be, but that I knew that it was something that I had a passion for, and that it would always be a foundation for my career path.
Awesome. Awesome. That is so beautiful. That is
Well,
just that's wonderful, because the world really does need people like you
Mhm.
that really have a passion for education, a passion for teaching, and passion for helping students. That's so powerful
Thank
yeah.
you.
that you
Aubrey,
have that kind of heart. Go ahead.
Aubrey,
Go
can you
ahead,
allow me to
Alex.
interject for a second? Tiffany, most people start, dating high school sweetheart or things of that nature, college sweetheart. When did dating start for you, and what were those early experiences like?
Dating started. I always had a boyfriend. I was never the type of girl to hop from boyfriend to boyfriend.
Okay.
Um, Dating really started for me around 10th grade. And I didn't have rules to dating. Listen, my mom, my parents had a standard, an expectation. My siblings and I, we knew what it was. Education came first, point blank, period. That was it. So, yes, I have boyfriends. My sisters did as well. Um, but it didn't get serious until I was in college. And in my earlier years, I don't know. I just remember it being fun, just being fun. I don't remember it being as serious as it is now.
Oh, okay.
That's what I remember too.
It's real out here right now
Right. So
when
there
it
was
comes
never
to
there,
dating.
there was never a guy that you loved or felt like you loved at that point, whether it's college or high school or none of that kind of stuff. Was
She
Yeah,
there?
didn't say she didn't say all that, Alex.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I didn't say that, but
Oh,
yes, I can say that I was in love in those years. Not really understanding what it meant to be loved or be in love.
right.
Uh, it's a new day though today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's a different ball game today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Aubery.
Right. So yeah, I was gonna kind of explore that a little more, but Alex just jumped in there. So so I'm gonna ask the question.
Okay.
Where was it? Where were you, like in high school or maybe college? When you had that first love, that first, I'm in love. I really care about this guy. I'm crazy about him, and was that high school or college maybe?
That is my high school sweetheart, my son's father.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Could you, do you feel comfortable talking about that a little bit? Just,
I do.
Awesome.
What I can remember, am I speaking to?
I'll ask you the question. So it sounds like you guys met at high school, or did you know each other like grade school?
We met in high school, yes.
Okay, so you met in high school, so started dating, and you want to continue from there maybe? You started dating.
Yeah, we started dating. Dating was different then. I remember we spent a lot of time together. And our relationship transitioned into college. We didn't go to the same college.
Okay.
But he was the first man that ever made my heart beat fast. Of course, I had a boyfriend. You have boyfriends, but some of them don't really stand out to you. But yeah, some of them are just like, oh, I remember him, But my son's father was my first real true love.
Okay, all right.
He was that dude.
He was that dude.
Yeah, he was that dude.
Yeah, like she said, I like what Tiffany just said just there. You're gonna date different guys, and not all of them are gonna be your true love. You're not gonna have that pitter patter of the heart. I get it, Tiffany. I definitely agree. Yeah.
All of them don't make you get butterflies,
Right, them butterflies. Yep, I know that feeling. Absolutely.
Alex, you've had that feeling a time or two.
I've had them butterflies. Crazy. you know the days when you just sit on the phone and listen to each other breathe. That kind of craziness, So
right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. And then your father says, you're not supposed to be on the phone this late. Who are you talking to? Get off that phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Right. And so then, you go away to college, you come back. Well, and then in dating, what do you say? What's going on in your life leading up to you deciding to apply to be on Ready to Love? Can I ask you that?
Sure, absolutely. I went through a phase. I've been single for 8 years. I went through a phase of dating for fun. So I was not intentional. I was not trying to get serious with anyone. More so just having fun, that male companionship.
Right.
And I knew that there was some work I needed to do on me. And some things happened in my life throughout these years that let me know, okay, sis, you need to do some work. Okay. So in the past maybe year or two, I have dated more with intention. Meaning I want to meet my person.
Okay.
And when I say dating with intention, when I meet someone that I do have an interest in, I always make it very clear in a very sweet way whenever that appropriate time comes that I am looking for my person. I want to be a wife. I am a wife. I'm not a boo thing. I'm not a girlfriend that you shack up with and hold on to for a couple of years while you stay in the streets and keep me on the side. That's not what we're doing. I was in a place when I was dating for fun, but maybe I would have tolerated that. I'm not in that place anymore. I am truly establishing my legacy as an independent woman, but I would like to establish that with someone. It is nothing like that companionship and having that person there. And I think over these years that I have been single, I have done the work on myself to prepare for him. There was a time when I would pray, okay, I'm ready to settle down, send me my person. But then I had to kind of shift that and just prepare for him so that when he comes, I'm ready and I don't ruin it.
That is very important, and you are very wise. I was thinking while you were speaking just now, I was thinking, go ahead, teach, educator. Because that is very wise. I think for a lot of us as women, we go through a period where, like you said, we're just dating for fun. We're just dating to go out and have a good time, see a movie with a guy. Yeah. And I was talking to Alex about this not too long ago, and I was telling him, I said, there comes a point where women grow up and most of us, some of us, and we determine that we're now ready for a serious relationship or marriage or whatever that thing is for that individual person. But we know that we're looking for something more meaningful. And that's when we want to not just date anybody, but we want to date with intention. So to what you just said, exactly. I totally agree with that. So some of the things that you were or are looking for in a mate, a long-term partner and a husband, could you tell us some of those things that you were looking for or that you'd want to have in a partner?
Yes. First and foremost is that he is spiritually grounded. I need a man who realizes that we are just not here as human beings and that there is something or someone that is a higher power and that he looks to that higher power for strength, for guidance. That's very important.
Yes.
A lot of men out here who are just out here, just living. And I can't be around that. I can't have that. I don't live my life that way. So I definitely need someone who is spiritually grounded. I need someone who is driven. If he is not where he wants to be, he is working to get there. And he wouldn't mind me coming along on his journey to help him get there through my love, my support, my motivation, my help, however he needs me. I want to be available and be there. So I'm definitely looking for someone that's driven, who has goals.
Yes.
And I need someone who is fun.
So shallow, so vain and shallow.
No, I'm not.
Fun is important. That's the glue that cements the rest of what she just said.
Why do we? Yeah, life does not have to be so serious. It does not have to be get up, go to work, watch TV, do the same things over and over all the time. It can be fun. It can be spontaneous. It can be, let's live on the edge. Let's live a little. I need that because I'm down to have fun. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be, we wake up one Saturday morning, we're bored, and we're like, oh, let's go to the beach, pack a bag, we go. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of life I want to live. Some people just turn into robots.
Yeah, they do.
Traditional. Everything's the same.
Yeah.
Right. Every day after day after day after day. Oh, exactly.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. I feel you on that.
So when you got did you see that they were looking for cast members to be on Ready to Love? What brought you to that process, and what was that process like?
So my aunt knew about the casting call before I did, and she reached out to me because I've been single for a while. So, I'm getting questions like, all right, Tiff, what's going on? What's up?
Mama telling you she wants grandchildren and whatnot. More grandchildren.
So I got a lot of that. So she's like, you should apply. So I immediately stopped what I'm doing. I applied. Maybe 2 days later, the casting directors called me and the ball started moving from there. So I was one of the ones who genuinely applied for the show. I wasn't chosen. I didn't know somebody that knew somebody.
Okay. You actually went through the actual full process.
Everything, all of it, yes.
Okay. And was it a lengthy process, would you say? Like when did you start and when did you start filming or find out that you actually got it?
I think I started the process maybe in June. I didn't end the interviews, the psychological evaluation, and maybe it went on for maybe a month or two. almost 3. It was a lot to get
Wow.
on the show. I sacrificed a lot to be on the show. A lot. A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will elaborate on that when we start to talk about the show.
Okay.
I'm sure you all guys want to talk to me about my exit and when I went home and how I responded and what I said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alex is gonna handle all
I
of
already
that.
know. I'm ready.
I'll jump in here and there. So I think that takes us up to your turn, Alex.
Oh my goodness. Tiffany way ahead of us. Oh my goodness.
I'm ready because I already know.
Yeah. I might shock you. I don't know.
She's done this once or twice before, Alex.
Yeah, I can dig it. But all right. So you aren't ready to love because a lot of the cast members get pursued. Some applies different methods onto the show. But when you get there and you get to the mixer, what are your emotions into the mixer? And did anybody stand out to you immediately?
When I get to the mixer, I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Yes. I'm just excited to be just in the process. I'm like, oh my gosh, who stood out to me? Wiley stood out to me. Laverne stood out.
Yes.
And Clifton stood out, but like in a fun way. Clifton was like a homie.
Okay.
He's outgoing. He's playful. So yeah, they.
Okay.
Oh, wait, before you go on,
Okay.
because she just said something that triggered a question. Otherwise, I wouldn't interrupt. But well, in which way did Laverne and which way did Wiley stand out to you?
Okay, Laverne was such a gentleman in the way he spoke and the way he just dealt with the women. He held the door for us. He's a true gentleman. You can tell he's a real true gentleman. He had great conversation. He seemed to be very loving. Wiley, first there was a physical attraction there, and then we sat down and talked. Of course, you all do not see Wiley and I's true connection at all on camera. We talked a lot at the mansion, but they didn't show it. They did not show Wiley and I. I mean, we talked so long, the producers were like, okay, y'all gotta break up. Go talk to somebody else.
Oh, wow. Really? Yeah, because we didn't see any of that as viewers.
Yeah. He could kiss me on my cheek at the mansion. Y'all don't see that.
No, we didn't see no kiss on no cheek.
No.
You don't say. Well, did you get any flutters when he kissed you?
Absolutely. I got flutters from just him. Okay. Not all men give me those feels. Initially, he gave me a feel. And I'm very energy oriented. Energy is real for me. And out of the 7 men there, he gave me that something. He was confident. He was funny. I love his conversation. It was just, I don't know, it was something about him.
Yeah. Because I know production tend to push you guys around. If you're talking to somebody,
they do.
Yeah, they push you around and go,
they'll break you up. Break you up and like say, hey, you go talk to her, you go talk to him. It was a lot of that.
Did you speak to everybody that first day at the mixer?
Everybody, and you all don't see any of it.
Oh, wow.
I spoke to everybody. I had a conversation with every man there, but you don't see it. You don't see me much at all in that episode. 15 hours of filming, and you saw me for maybe 30 seconds on the episode.
Say that again for the audience, because I've been hearing this, but you say that again. How many
hours of filming? 15 hours.
To get less than 1 hour of film for that one episode.
We are hot. We are sweaty. We have cameras, producers everywhere. It was, oh wow, that was an experience in itself. I mean, we were so exhausted when it was time to leave the mansion. It was nothing. I can't explain it. You had to be there.
Tiffany, we spoke with Keena about this, the dress, the attire, and things like that. Yes. And she said they didn't want you guys wearing the same color. She originally came with a green dress, but Joy had green. They made her change to the black dress, but you had a black dress on.
Guess what?
They let that ride.
No, my dress was pink.
Oh, okay. Wow.
They picked that dress. I didn't pick that dress. My dress was, I sent them pictures of 2 dresses. I want the pink was my number 1 choice. They told me no, wear the black one.
Wow.
I would have been the only woman with pink, correct?
That's right, because nobody else had pink on that day.
Exactly. They were creating a narrative, but that's another story. We can keep going.
Yeah, we know about some of these narratives that they create.
Right. Well, I tried to mention Nikina because in a previous life I was a spokesperson and a spokesmodel, and I said, to me it seemed like production has their favorites and then production has their not so favorites.
Listen, they knew what was up before we got there. They already knew who. They already knew.
Yeah. I see it as a viewer and as a person that's worked in the industry. I see it. I see the narrative that they're trying to create.
It's so unfortunate because I was very, very genuine in this process. I went into the process with a pure heart, not to be a celebrity, not to get followers, to open up to change, because I am a pretty private person. If you look at my social media, you will see that. I don't do a lot of social media. Posting is not my thing. I have a great life. I do a lot of fun things. I don't feel the need to post it. Yeah. So I do it for attention. And so I really put myself out there in this process on national TV, social media. I have all these people have access to me, my life. I mean, there's so many YouTube videos out here about me and my life. It is amazing. I had no idea this world existed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like us bloggers, YouTubers that, create a whole nother industry behind watching the show and talking about the show. Right.
Yeah.
So Tiffany, who was your first date with, and in your opinion, how did that go? In your opinion,
my first date was with Tori. Okay. You all don't see that. Right.
Yeah.
You know why?
It
was a great date. Really? It was a substance. Okay.
Right.
You don't see any substance from me. I'm a woman full of substance. You don't get to see that. It's unfortunate.
I mean, all we saw was Tori sitting down with Precious the entire first episode. We didn't even know.
The first episode, yes. Now, the first episode, I talked to all the men. I think you see me talk to Wally for a couple of seconds, and you see me talk to Tori at the mansion. And then I have a date we skip the brunch. Then we have the brunch. And then I have a date with Tori. After Tori, I have a group date with Paul, Cornelius, Precious, and Sabrina.
Right.
So yes, you saw me on 2 dates. You saw me on my group date. And you saw me go home with Paul. You don't see my date with Tori, and that.
Tiffany, let me ask you this, because we've heard this from Tori and a few other people, how they create various narratives for various people.
Man,
what's the narrative you feel they created for you? Where were they going with you?
They tried to make me look like a silly, combative country girl. On the first episode in the mansion, you hear me say, my introduction to the world is, I like to touch and be touched. When I was in my confessional, I was asked about my love languages. My number 1 love language is physical touch.
Right.
They asked me to elaborate on that. I elaborate and I make a joke. I like to touch and be touched. They use that as my introduction, as if I'm this overly sexual. They try to make us all horny.
Wow.
Okay. And I believe that because someone from a previous season, when asked about why they said they want a man with a big penis, said that wasn't what that question was. They used that to introduce this particular person, but that was asked in a whole nother session.
Yes.
They cut snippets out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Tiffany, how much of this do you think that they were just trying to portray you in a certain way, and how much of this you feel like they were just trying to create good TV?
They were trying to create good TV. I said so much on my dates with Paul. one thing I noticed, they only show responses and reactions. They do not show me speaking and actually speaking to who I am as a person. Everything is a reaction. Okay. My group date with Paul, that was a fun date. That group date with Precious and Sabrina, we had a good time. So what you all saw was me being frustrated with Paul, but you know how long I had been sitting there answering questions from Paul? No.
Yeah.
You saw 5 seconds of me responding to him. Right. Not only that, you do not see Cornelius and I's whole conversation. We had a whole conversation about monogamy and marriage and relationships. You only see me telling him I want a husband. They made me, it's so unfortunate that there's so much more they could have showed. They could have showed me being silly. I'm kind of playful sometimes.
Right.
When you show me being like combative, like I have an attitude and I don't want to talk to the men, or I didn't want to answer Paul's questions, that is not how that date went. And Paul and I have talked about this so many times. I talk to Paul periodically. We talk every couple of weeks, and we always talk for a long time. And it's so unfortunate that you all didn't see more substance. You only see the bullshit.
Because we're sitting there, and as a viewer, Paul's asking you about spoken word,
Yes.
And he says, do you do spoken word? And you say no. And he says, well, if you did do it, what would your name be? And at that point, you seem to want to blow up.
But do you know what I said back to him? When he asked me that question, they edited it out. What I said. I gave him an actual title of a spoken word, and he asked me, why would I name it that? Dang, I don't even remember what I said. It's been so...
Right, it's been some months, right?
Yeah.
That was in September. So I don't even know, but I gave him a title of a spoken word, and he asked me why, and I told him why.
Mm-hmm.
So you did answer him.
Yes, I answered him.
Questions that he was asking you.
Yes.
They utilized answers that you gave much later when he just did he keep repeatedly asking you questions related to spoken word, or
no, he repeatedly asked me questions. It was a very one-sided conversation. He was asking me and I was answering, but it got to a point where I wasn't getting a word in. The spoken word is the last question he asked. I answered it in a respectful way.
Right.
He said something else, and then I say, "Oh, why the hell you keep asking me all these questions?" In a play, it was like we were playing. It was everybody was joking and playing.
Right,
and I said to Precious, we're like cracking a joke, and I said, "Are we in therapy or not?" But it was in regards to the joke we were making.
Yeah, Tiffany, I'll tell you, they made you seem very bitchy. That's what they were.
I know they did.
Language, sir.
That's what they were going after. That's what they were going after.
Language.
It's so unfortunate that they. It's so unfortunate.
I've got to ask you a question. Now, normally I don't take questions out of the audience like this, but because it is related, one of the viewers says, someone in the chat, Janika Thompson says, they made it seem as if you were you weren't interested in anybody but Wiley.
Exactly.
But do you find that to be true? So tell us about that.
Can I say elaborate? I was filming for 5 days, and I went home.
So you had other dates. You had dates with Tori. You said it was your first date, right?
Tori, the group date, and the date with Paul. How can you determine if I'm ready to love in less than a week? You can't determine that. I was not giving the opportunity to get to know anyone. I was talking to other guys on the phone. So my main connection was Wiley. That's the only one they showed. I was talking to Tori. I was talking to Clifton, but like the homie, me and Clifton I never felt romantic with Clifton. Right, I talked on the phone with Laverne as well. So I was establishing connections. My main connection was with Wiley, but you didn't give me a chance to establish more connections. You didn't, like some people I didn't click with. I didn't click with Demetrius.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And what about Laverne? Because you mentioned that you had noticed him. He stood out. So
we talked on the phone a few times, but again, you have to understand we're all talking to each other. So My energy is being dispersed between 7 men.
Yeah.
I don't have the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
So the guys that I gravitated to is all the men I talked to. I talked to Wiley the most.
Right.
Again, they sent people home. They sent people home too early.
Yeah.
They sent people home too soon. Kena and Fernando should not have gone home at the mansion.
Yeah.
How can you say they're not ready to love from one day? An exhausting day at that. It just wasn't fair. Fernando is one of the guys I talked to at the mansion. You don't see that.
Oh, really?
No, you don't talk to him. No. And he was, and one of the issues with him was he didn't make his rounds. He was pretty like settled. He would talk to a girl and like settle there and talk to the next woman and settle. But I was one of the women he talked to. But of course you don't see that. So it makes it look like, oh, she's just so crazy and goofy over Wiley. Like, what? Yes, I liked him. Yes, I showed it. I'm unapologetic about that. But I wasn't given the opportunity by production to establish more connections, first of all. Mm-hmm. And why would you send me home if you knew I established a connection? They knew everyone. Wiley got my number at the mansion. He's the only man that asked for my number.
Okay.
So from day one of filming, Wiley and I were in contact. After the brunch is when we really started getting close.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And they don't send you on dates with people you want to go on dates with. They send you on people.
I've heard that.
No.
So that is true. They do not send you on dates with the people you want to be on a date with.
No. Wow. If you say, I really like so-and-so, I'm going to go on a date with him, you're not going.
You know what?
I'm sorry. Production, even especially the women knew my connection was with Wiley. It was not a secret. Like everybody knew.
Right. So that day with the group date with Paul, where you seemed like, or production made it seem like you were so frustrated. This is sort of like a two-part question. Your interaction with Cornelius, aka Cornbread, you know.
Right. Yeah.
What was your connection with him, or what was your interaction with him like? Because they made it just seem like he wanted to find out and you got pissed off and stormed off.
That is not true. Oh my gosh, can I please speak to this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cornelius and I were playing ping pong. At first it was Cornelius against me and Sabrina. They sent Sabrina to go sit with Precious and Paul. It's me and Cornelius. We had a great conversation. I found out he was into real estate, he was traveling, and he was a polygamist. Because I always ask guys about monogamy.
Wait. Polygamous or what's the other one? Polyamorous.
Polyamory, yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. It's not.
He's into exploring.
Okay.
You all don't see any of that conversation. I simply tell him, I was intrigued by his lifestyle, to be honest. But I say, I just want to be a wife. I want a husband. And you see me put the paddle down.
Right.
Okay. I talked to Cornelius the day after my episode aired that I go home. He said, okay, what was said in the episode was I had negative energy. Mm-hmm. He said he was asked, did I have negative energy? The way that it was given to you all or aired to the audience was that he said I had negative energy. He said he did not say that.
I don't think he did. I don't remember his exact wording, but he didn't seem like he was upset with you or anything like that.
No.
It seemed like it was a narrative they were trying to spin.
Yeah, we didn't hear him say anything about negative energy.
That is the way they tried to portray my character, as if I was like combative and I had an attitude and I was impatient.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. It is so unfortunate that is the way I was portrayed. But I know who I am. And that's all I can say about that. But I had a great date with them, and my interaction with Cornelius was great. I thought he was a good guy. I was intrigued by his lifestyle, but we didn't want the same thing. It's that simple.
That's what I got out of that group date that you had with Cornelius and Paul. And I just want to go back. Okay, I'm sorry if I was being a little if I sounded like I was being a little snipey, I didn't mean to be.
Yeah.
But to what you were saying, Alex, to what Alex was saying about polyamorous and polygamous, those are two different things. So polygamous is someone who's married to multiple people. Polyamorous is someone who loves multiple people at the same time. So it's different from a monogamous relationship that she's claiming and stating that she clearly wants to be in a monogamous relationship leading to marriage versus somebody being with multiple women. That's not what she wants.
Clear. Yes.
Okay.
Right. Well, yes, interesting. Very interesting. So, Tiffany, this season was a very interesting season because each one of you guys has something unique to you. Tori had the kidney comments, which was very unique to him. It kind of took on a life of his own. Keena had the black dress thing, took on a life of his own. Everybody had something. Paul with the post office because he delivers. So everybody has some. Yeah. That's the applause machine. But you had, and everybody remembers what I call the expletive exit. Okay. When you left, you were F-bombing. And for what they showed us, you were F-bombing. Like, get me out of here. I'm done with this kind of thing. At that exact moment, did you know you were still mic'd? And what were you feeling at that exact moment as you left that date?
Okay, so I filmed that scene twice. Let's be clear.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes, you don't know that, of course. I filmed that scene twice because Paul did not say what production wanted him to say. Okay. Paul was supposed to say to me that none of the men are really feeling you. They don't feel like you opened up to this process. We feel like you're not ready to love. Paul didn't say that at first.
Oh, okay.
Paul says to me, some of the guys are feeling you, but, we don't think you're ready to love. They stop the cameras. Of course, production comes out, pulls them to the side, and they're like, so when you see me get upset, that's the first time. That's the first time I filmed it. I filmed it the second time. I got upset because I had no clue I was going home. Why was I going home? I had a connection, a solid one. Everybody knew it. I hadn't been filming but for a week.
Right.
So why is my journey ending here? I hadn't been on but one single date, one group date. How are you able to determine that I'm not ready to love in a couple of days? So yes, I was pissed. Yes, I was pissed. I sacrificed a lot to be on the show.
Yeah.
I need you to know that. My business suffered to be on the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I sacrificed a lot. I went through all those months of interviews and makeup and hair, and it was just a lot that I went through to get there. And my journey ended so quickly. And what was so mind-boggling to myself and Wiley, we had a connection. If we're there for love and you see that two people are establishing a connection, Joy and Kayla Clifton were not the only two people that established a connection at the mansion.
Right.
Our connection started at the mansion. It was no secret. It was very obvious that we were feeling each other. Just like a few other people. Demetrius and Brenda were feeling each other. So
and see, now that's something we as viewers, we never saw that. And I'm sure they probably had plenty of footage of Sabrina and Demetrius. But by I think maybe the third or fourth episode, I'm looking at it as a viewer going, why do they say this woman likes this man? Because I don't see any footage or anything to denote that they have any chemistry or that there's something going on between them. It made no sense.
Oh my goodness. It's wow. So yes. Okay. Let me speak to my exit.
Okay.
I lean over and I say, did I get just sent the home?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I was completely caught off guard. I will say in past seasons, some of the men have reached out to the women like, hey, you're going home this episode. Mm-hmm. So some of the women show up to those dates and they know. Yeah. Y'all, I had no clue. I was completely in the dark. That was a raw reaction. Why am I going home? I went through all of that, months of preparing to be on this show, and you send me home for a week, after a week, and I'm production. That's when I said, okay, something is not right with this process. That is when I realized, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is not what I thought it was. And that's what you got. You got a response, a raw response. So when I'm walking off, I have no clue that the cameras are following me.
And they were.
I had no idea that the cameras were following me.
Right. Yeah. Because I thought this is bad. They
did not have to show that. I walked off. I recorded that scene twice. They did not have to show that. Why would you break up a real connection? Believe it or not, the fact that I was sent home had a major effect on Wiley and I's connection. It pretty much helped tarnish it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, because you're sent home. Wiley's still there, apparently trying to make connections.
Yes.
Okay. Now, even though you were off the show, how often were you guys interacting and maybe still going on dates behind the scenes? Was that still going on? Or?
I want to speak to that. Oh, so much I can say.
Okay.
I made it very when Wiley's it got really weird between us because he was still going on dates. Like we would be on the phone or we would be hanging out or spending time. And we really weren't supposed to be because you're not supposed to date off camera. Everything is supposed to happen off camera. You can only talk, text, and FaceTime. Those are the rules. So we didn't see each other off camera until I went home. So I wasn't on the show anymore. So technically it didn't count. So I told Wiley, I said to him, Wiley, while you are still filming the show, and this was on 2 occasions, I remember specifically, I'm like, maybe we should let this be and you continue the process. And if you get eliminated, we'll pick up where we left off. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to continue dating. Hence the reason why he didn't connect with anybody else. He was connected with me when I went home. He and I had so many conversations when I went home about why did they break this up? Why we're there for love? Would they send me home knowing we had a connection? It didn't make sense. The viewers think that only the men dictate, oh, we didn't like Tiffany. She didn't open up to the process. That's not how this works. Production has their hands in who goes home.
Right.
So it was unfortunate. Our connection was like broken up a little bit. So he's still going on dates and he doesn't want us to stop dating. He wants to stay on the show. He wants us to keep dating off camera. So we did. Right. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It was a beautiful thing, you say, because eventually, of course, he gets voted off.
Yeah.
Wiley's thing during the show was they looked at his age. Everybody looked at his age. Most of the women were, older than he was, and that kind of seemed to be a deterrent for him.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So once he was voted off the show, and you were already off the show, did you guys feel like, okay, finally we're both off the show? We can do this now for real. And how did it develop from there?
So Wiley and I took off full speed ahead. We spent a lot of time together. He took me on a lot of dates. We had a great time. He took me to meet his mother. I met his sister. I went to his show, one of his shows. I met his sister. So we were really into each other. Like it was a real thing. And a lot of our connection was mental. We had some great conversations, very fulfilling conversations. I mean, hours and hours regularly. It would be just days I would call him just to check on him. How was your day? Did you eat today? Did you work out? How was work? I'm thinking it's a 15-minute conversation. Before I know it, we're on the phone for 3 and 4 hours.
Wow.
So, and this was regularly. And it was a great time. We spent a lot of great times together. And I don't know, it was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time. We allowed ourselves to be vulnerable with each other. And I am guarded. I do take my time, and so does he. But we established a very emotional connection. And after about 2 months, he says to me he wanted space. I say, okay. Space sent me a text out of nowhere. He wanted space. I'm like, okay.
Kind of the kiss of death. That
Yeah,
space
I was
thing.
like, space. And then he tells me a few days later, he not necessarily wants space, but he wants us to slow down because we were moving really fast. I'm totally cool with that. At the time, we were not spending a lot of time together. Our dates had subsided a little. I didn't see him a lot during the week. We were both busy, but we would see each other on the weekends. So when he asked me for space, I was like, okay, space. We don't see each other that often. We only see each other on the weekends. We talk on the phone every day. So what's the space? And then he was like, I just want to focus on my career. It's very abrupt. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, okay, but because everything was fine. I'm like, okay. And the thing is, anytime we had a disagreement or it was something we didn't see eye to eye on, we talked it out. It was never combative, or we never really argued, like ever. We talked everything out. And I will say, so it got weird, started getting weird, right? After this whole slowing down.
Right.
And it really took a turn for the worse once the show aired. Because I met more of Wiley's family than he met of mine. He really let me into his life personally. We talked about a lot of past childhood traumas, past relationship trauma. I mean, we were really vulnerable with each other, and men don't do that.
Generally speaking, no, they don't.
They don't. And so, I've dated many men, and I took it to heart that he was comfortable enough to be open with me about personal things. And what's unfortunate is that he doesn't speak to our real connection. I've noticed in his interviews that he does not speak to our connection in depth as it was.
Okay.
I'm confused as to why. He said he wanted to focus on his career, but then I saw his interview. He said he's ready to love. So I'm fine with, and I was fine with that. But we had a really good friendship. We had a really good time together. And just over time, it subsided, and it was no longer that connection that it started off to be. So I have a lot more thoughts in regards to why. But
do you? Well, I want to.
Yeah, I wanted to ask something, but go ahead, Aubery.
Yeah. Okay, which one of us? Because you got me on the edge of my seat right now. I can dig it. Do you feel like maybe when the show ended, what would be the reason why now that the show, especially once he was eliminated, because he was eliminated too before the show ended, so why not go in earnest and continue dating if you two had a connection? And I don't get it.
We kept dating, but I think it goes back to me asking him, should we chill out while he's still on the show? I found out recently. I found out so much recently that it is almost disturbing. Okay. I did not know that he really liked Joy while he was filming. I did not know that he liked Takia. Mm-hmm. He had me thinking that his interest was with me and his connection was with me, even though he was dating the other women while the show was filming. Okay. So I'm finding out recently in his interviews and watching the actual episodes that he had feelings for other women. Okay. But I kind of knew that was going to happen. Hence the reason I felt we should pull away while he was still filming. It is a situation of he just was not fully transparent and honest with me. Okay. While still filming the show, for whatever reason. Again, Wiley and I had some great times. Our conversation was always fulfilling, always beneficial and stimulating. He's very intelligent. We could really talk on a deep level. I've always spoken highly of him in all of my interviews. Anytime he's asked, I'm asked about him. But he's not giving me that same respect, and I'm confused as to why, because we didn't end on a vindictive, I hate you, I can't stand you note. It was more so, okay, I pulled away because I'm like, okay, this is not what I want. I wanted more, and he wasn't ready to give it to me. He wasn't ready to love, he said. He wanted to focus on his career. So, we were on two different paths. So I don't know. I have nothing but great things to say in regards to the time we spent. And I still have nothing but great things to say. It's just so unfortunate that he has not presented to the fans in his interviews the extent of our connection the extent of our connection that we had. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, Tiffany, the thing is with sometimes in this life, this dating life is very rough, obviously. And sometimes there's an old adage, don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Because I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in all that craziness kind of thing. So do you think this was a situation where he just like played the game, like he was gaming the whole time, and in the back of his mind he knew he was gaming, but he was so good at it you couldn't recognize it?
Yes, I have come to that realization now. So there's a flow to healing that I follow. There's the discomfort, there's the acceptance, and there's the healing. Okay. So when I realized that this man was truly running game on me, this was not a real thing for him, I went through that discomfort part. I went through the acceptance, like, wow, Tiff, you really didn't realize it. You didn't catch on. And now I'm in the healing phase of it, where I'm like, okay, that's what happened. Accept it. Move on. Like keep it moving, keep it trucking, because my person wouldn't do me like that. The person for me wouldn't do me like that. I know that on my end, I was honest. I was transparent. I was intentional. I was patient. And I was loving. So I know I put my best foot forward. I know I did my best in regards to our connection. I thought it was great, but it didn't work out, and it's all good.
Tiffany, there's and I've spoken to Aubery about this. There's a movie out called The Tinder Swindler. It's on Netflix, and they call these guys the sweetheart swindlers, and it's been a big thing for many, many, many years. I asked a question once on social media: what's the difference between a sociopath and a narcissist? Because I wanted to get that discussion. I wanted to get people's different perspectives on those things. And do you think that he had any of those tendencies, narcissist, sociopathic tendencies?
No, I don't. He's not a narcissist. He's not a sociopath.
Okay.
I think Wiley just
maybe
not. I think Wiley really wants to continue to date. He wants to explore more. I think that he really liked me at one point. I think that what we had at that time was real, but also his DMs are crazy. Yeah. And he's an attractive man, and he's
I'm sure yours are crazy.
They've subsided, but they were. No, I know. I don't think he's a narcissist, a sociopath. I think Wiley just wants to continue to date and explore more, and maybe he think he can find something better. And I said that to him at one point. If you feel that I am not what you want, by all means, boo, go ahead and explore, because we're keeping each other from our person. If I'm holding on to you, you're keeping me from my man, from my person, and vice versa. So I was all in. I was willing to work towards something. I was not ready to dive into anything with him. We were really having a lot of fun. We were dating. The conversation was great. I mean, it was just a great time. So we were building, but that's not what he eventually had an abrupt moment. Okay, this is not what I want. I want to focus on my career. And then all of a sudden now he's like ready to love again. So I think that maybe he just lost his interest in me. There were some other women he was checking for. And instead of being honest about it, he was like, oh, I just want to focus on my career. But really, you just want to date other women. And that's fine. Just, it's okay. You know, we had established a good connection, a great connection. We were really good friends. And it's just so unfortunate that he was dishonest.
Can you honestly say that at one point that you truly did love him or thought you did?
Oh, no. I never felt like I loved Wiley. I was never in love with him. No.
Okay.
No, I liked him a lot. But no.
Okay. So you never said the words.
Oh, no. We never said I love you. We were really like establishing a friendship. We both knew what we wanted. We wanted to be in a relationship eventually. But we wanted to take our time and really get to know each other because we had both had relationships where it didn't go well, it didn't end well. And we wanted to take our time to get to know each other. And I mean, we established a great connection. I mean, it was great. It really was. It's unfortunate that it ended or subsided the way that it did. It's unfortunate.
Looking back on it now, because you've been out of it for a while. You guys aren't currently dating. So now in retrospect, sometime once we step out of a situation and look back in, we can say, oh man, that got by me. Oh, why didn't I see that? Were there any red flags looking back now to say, oh, that was one. Oh, that was two. Any of that stuff?
I got a lot of, I wouldn't say red flags, but I got a lot of signs saying, okay, this is inconsistent and he's not ready.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Would I call them red? Yes, they're red flags.
Yeah. It sounds like red flags. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you.
They are.
The way you're hesitating.
You know why? Can I tell you why?
Please do. Please let us clarify everything.
Because in every interview, I have done my best to protect Wiley's character. And I have always spoke highly of him because I think highly of him.
Right.
And I feel that the things that happened between us are between us and they were personal.
Right.
So even the things that were distasteful or did not make me happy in our connection, I did not speak to those in my interview. I tried to keep that stuff between us.
Right.
So I didn't tarnish. I don't want to tarnish his character. But I mean, I got to be real because he is not giving me that same respect. And, you know, he said I was a hopeless romantic. I am very much a hope. Yes, in one of his interviews, he said I was a hopeless romantic. I am very much of a hopeful romantic.
Exactly.
You know, and he said I was fairy tale-ish. First of all, that's not a word. Secondly,
wait. Hold that thought while I get my laugh track.
I had no idea that he felt these things about me. I had no clue that he felt I was a hopeless romantic or I was fairy tale-ish. I love love. Love should be blissful, happy, fun, and that's the way I speak about it. You know, when I see a couple that's been together for years and they still date and they still have date and have fun, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like that. I get mushy inside, but that doesn't make me like, you know, like I just think that everything is supposed to be picket fence and everything's going to be perfect. No, I realize that relationships are work. I have an optimistic view of a hope of what a relationship should be. I see someone said, I hope it's romantic isn't an insult. No, I didn't take it as an insult. I took it, I didn't, but that's not just who I am. A hopeful romantic is a person who is optimistic about love and what love can bring to their life. And that is what I feel about falling in love. So, you know, me wanting to be in love is something that I'm unapologetic about, and I am. Hey, it's a beautiful thing.
Can I be real with you here? I'm listening to you, and again, I'm just thinking about what you said thus far in this interview, right? I'm basing it on that, and I'm basing it. Okay, so this is going to come from my very own perspective and experiences. So it sounds like, to be honest now, just another woman to woman, it sounds like a bunch of BS. So, like, he's trying to say you're this hopeless romantic, but it's like, that's like taking a jab at you, first of all. So I would be offended if I were you and he was saying this about me. That's like he's taking a jab at me, right?
I felt the same way.
So you're going out doing these interviews and you're disrespecting me and what we had. Okay, so if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. That's one thing. But now, why do you have to go do these interviews and make yourself seem like this great catch by saying that I'm some hopeless romantic? That's not really what it is. Why don't you just speak to your truth without putting the other person down or creating a narrative? Because that's what it sounds like. So he's creating this narrative, because here's the thing, and here's what I see. I'm gonna just tell you what I see as a viewer. He's on the show and nobody wants him publicly. And when I say publicly, I think there may have been one or two women, outside of you, there may have been other women that stayed on the show longer that may have wanted to romp around with him, but they didn't want to claim him. As they say, men always claim women, but women actually get to claim men too, right?
Yes.
So the guy that's my maintenance guy, nobody may not know anything about him because he's tipping in the back door. The man who I really want, he's coming through the front door. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now Wiley, I think he got his feelings a little bit bruised. That's what I see. Okay? That's what I see. And Wiley, if I'm wrong, come on here and we'll talk about it. But now back to you. So how does all of this make you feel when you're hearing these things on his interviews that he's doing out here?
Oh, man. Very hurtful. Very hurtful. Because, and I talked to him about the interview very briefly. His last interview had me so disgusted. So disheartening. I said, you said things I had no clue you felt about me. Why would you speak to me in that way, speak about me in that way? We had a great time together. Just speak true to our connection, the time we had, and you want to move on from it. Why are you saying things about me? I'm a hopeless romantic. He said, she's super ready to love. When I was watching his interview, I could not believe the things that he was saying about me because I didn't know he felt that way. And
what affected you the most, Tiffany, out of what he said? When you heard it, you was like, this?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I think what hurt me the most, he said I was fairy tale-ish.
Okay.
Because first of all, that's not a word. So when you say that, you're implying something.
The teacher in you. But right. But I want to go beyond that's not a word. Why did that make you feel in a certain way? Why did that make you feel in a certain way? Because
it's almost like I'm just, the minute someone is interested in me, I'm ready to fall in love. Let's get married. No. That's not how I carry myself as a woman. That is not how I carry myself when I date. I was taking my time with him. He was taking his time with me. We agreed that we should establish a friendship and a connection. We did that. So what was I doing in my behavior? Because I'm not a clingy woman. I wasn't blowing his phone up. I didn't be up under him every day. I could just call him just to check on him. If I hear from him, hey, how you doing? You feeling okay? All right, we can get off the phone. We talked for hours. Regularly for months. This was not play. This was real grown man, grown woman interaction. Right. So it was a great interaction. It was a great connection. So why, when you speak about me, you speak about me in a way that is distasteful. It's just, I to this day, I do not understand it at all, you all.
Well, Tiffany, I want to tell you this. You're not responsible for someone else's integrity issue. This is an integrity issue, okay, that he's having. And you can't take that on as if, okay, I don't know why he said this. You kill yourself trying to figure this out. If a person has an integrity issue, that's up to them to figure out. and maybe they need somebody that they really respect, like an elder or a uncle. I know his father's gone, uncle or something, so that they respect and let them know.
Pastor,
A
a
pastor,
pastor,
yeah,
mentor.
some kind of authority figure that they respect to say, listen, bruh, you got to get your integrity in check. This woman was good to you, so forth and so on. You should have been
Yes, I
honest,
will.
so forth. So that's what that is. So I just want to let you know not to beat yourself up.
No, I'm not beating myself up. I'm really not. I was really, really shocked. I was just shocked. I was caught off guard because I didn't know he felt those things about me. And at the time, we were on good terms. We weren't angry at each other or anything. So when he did his interview, I was really confused. I personally think that maybe he just wanted his fans to know and think that he was single and that there was nothing between us. Maybe I'm not going to try to justify it. It just caught me off guard. And
did he ever meet your child? And did they?
Yes, he did. He met my son. It's tricky. It's not tricky. It's confusing because even one time, my son's an artist, and he went shopping one day, and he bought my son a sketchbook, and he hadn't even met my son yet.
But he knew this about your son, that was
because we had those conversations. Wiley is the first man that my son and my mom have met in 8 years.
That's a long time.
He met your mom?
Yes, and my stepfather.
Whoa!
I don't bring men around my family. I date guys all the time. They don't meet my family. They don't meet my son has not seen a man in my bed in 8 years. That is intentional. I am very careful about the things I bring around my son. I expose them to, and I didn't bring. It was. I'm confused, y'all.
Yeah. Okay, I have to ask a question too now because we're getting to the meat of some things. So he met your son, he met your mom and your stepdad. So he's meeting family now. So this is okay. So Wiley, while all of this was going on, was he talking to you about the future that he envisioned for himself as a man, that he wanted he wanted to find love, that he wanted to find a wife? Was he talking to you about any of these type of things?
Yes. So initially, of course, we had those conversations about what we both wanted. We knew that, we didn't want to rush into anything, but
sure. Not saying you're going to run off tomorrow and get married in Vegas or anything, right?
Oh yes, no. Wiley made it very clear that he wanted to settle down. He wanted a wife and he wanted children. And
was that an issue with you? Was that
no, absolutely
you did
not
want to have any more children because you already have a son?
I was totally open to having more children. That was a deal breaker for him.
Right. Okay.
So yes,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was definitely open to having children. That was one of the first conversations that we had.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so, what, if you don't mind me asking, and if you don't feel like answering, that's fine. We'll move on to the next question. How did your parents, your mom and your stepdad, how did they feel once they had a chance to meet him and to talk to him? Did they like him? Did they not like him? They think,
No, they loved him. I hadn't brought anyone around. Of course, they've known about men I've dated and that I liked, but they hadn't met anybody in 8 years. Like, that's a long time. My son knew he was special. He's like, this man has to be special because I haven't met, he hadn't met anyone. Right. So everybody got good vibes from him. He met my mom, my stepdad, my brother, and my son. And I met his family as well. I met his sister, his mother, his brother, his sister-in-law briefly, and one of his close cousins as well. And one of his nieces too.
So you actually got to meet his mom.
Yes.
So this to me, I mean, I don't know. These are things that people do. Like, I know me when I was dating, at my big mature age, with children, the second time around, you're not coming home to meet my kids. You're not coming to meet my mom. My father was deceased at that point, but you're not coming around to meet my family. And I've had men in the past that asked for that privilege. But that's exactly what I thought it was. It's a privilege.
Right. Right.
Until I know you well enough and have collected enough data about you and about us, it's just, we're just dating.
Yes.
You know,
But
so
but
go
you know
ahead.
what? You know what, Aubery and Tiffany?
Mhm.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
Brooklyn, New York. I'm from the streets. I grew up in the inner city in Brooklyn, right? And people always say in relationships, oh, why can't he just be honest? Just tell me the honesty, tell me the honest truth, or whatever the case is. It's not that they don't want love, but more in love with the game. See, the game
Mm.
is strong. You see what I'm saying? I grew up around pimping community and all this other kind of stuff. I understand certain games, and I could look and see, right. I said, I know what this guy's doing. Oh my God, I hope he don't, hurt her, kind of thing. Because I'm more mature now. I'm kind of out of that, but I'm still sensitive to the game, And I know a lot of women sometimes, don't see that or have an inability to see it. My fear is, Tiffany, for you, and I don't want you to do this, and a lot of women do this. I don't want you to be so hurt in these travels with these dating, because like Aubery always said, the dating pool has pee and poop in it. Okay. So I don't want you to become that cold woman and block yourself off from your potential guy.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, I would be a fool to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a fool to do so. I do not put all men in one category. Everybody, any man that comes into my life gets a clean slate. Listen, again, I went through that healing phase of it. I went through the discomfort. I went through the acceptance. I'm in the healing phase. I'm a good woman. I was great to Wiley. I had a great time with him in the time that we spent together. It's unfortunate that he has portrayed our connection to the fans as he has. I'm good. I'm straight. Please believe me.
Right.
I know that my man, my person, will come into my physical presence very soon.
Absolutely.
I am prepared for him. I have done the work to prepare myself for him. And that's it. That's all. Wiley's a great guy for somebody. And I thought it was for me, but I guess it was not. And that's just, it's all good.
So at this point, you obviously doing the work and so forth. You kind of got past it or getting past it in a positive way.
Yes. Yes.
Are you currently out dating again? Or are you just chilling for a moment?
I'm chilling. I did meet a guy recently.
All right.
Oh, he's an older gentleman.
Does he?
Wait a minute. His initials aren't P.O., are they?
No, Paul, that's my homie. That's my friend. I met a guy recently. He was very sweet to me. Wanted to cater to me. Very loving. But he showed me a side of him that was not my cup of tea. So I gracefully bowed out. I didn't go. I don't ghost men. I just told him, this is not going to work. So I am dating no one right now. I have guy friends, but nobody that's romantic in my life. But he's coming. I ain't worried.
Yeah, you said the guy recently was an older guy. Did he have a sexy salt and pepper beard like this?
He did not, and he asked me that I want him to grow it, and I told him yes.
You told him yes? Oh wow!
I just wanted to see how he looked with the beard. It was like I love this beard, this goatee.
Yeah, the goatee.
I love that. That's what he had, but he asked me about the beard. He was growing it in, but we didn't make it long enough for me to see it. Oh my goodness.
Well, Tiffany, okay, you're a beautiful, mature woman. I know, like I said, I know your DMs have been blowing up before. You said they calmed down now.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to be perfect. So are you going to be one of these people where you be like, oh, he tied shoes wrong, I'm out. That's a dangerous thing to look for at the little tiniest fault in everybody. Oh, he left his sock by the bed. I'm out. I'm done.
No, I've always said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
I've always said that I'm not looking for a finished product. I'm not looking for someone who just has all his ducks in a row. I'm getting mine. I'm still pushing mine in a row. We're always a work in progress. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I want to compliment my man. I want him to be comfortable enough to come to me when he's weak and I'm his strength, and vice versa. When I need him, he's there for me. I am not looking for a man who is perfect or just has it all together. I'm no. And I don't look for things to be wrong. I'm truly a energy oriented person. I'm big on organic connection. And that's what I had established with Wiley. We weren't trying hard. We weren't forcing anything. It was just flowing. It just felt right. And when the communication piece is there, and when you can have those uncomfortable conversations and those fun conversations, and then you can get real deep on an intellectual level, that is what stimulates me. I said this many times before. I'm the true sapiosexual, and that is somebody who is stimulated. I'm stimulated by a man's mentality and how he thinks.
Yes, his intelligence.
That turns me on. That intrigues me. In addition to his physical appearance, of course. So, that stimulation is a big thing for me, because I truly believe that how a man thinks dictates how he's going to treat me as well. So that's a big thing for me when I meet someone.
Yeah, I want to kind of get past this out of respect for your time. I'm not sure how much time you have, but we kind of try to respect people's time. Because I want to get to what you're doing now and how can we get in touch with you, with your restaurant. How can we visit the family's restaurant? But I just have one more question.
Sure.
In your dating life now, as you experienced all these different things from your child's father right up through where you are now, have you developed a couple of deal breakers or an absolute deal breaker that as soon as you see that, you're gone?
Yep.
Would you want to share that?
Sure.
What is that deal breaker?
The number one is hygiene.
Oh, okay.
I like a man that's put together. Lord knows that smells good.
Okay.
Ooh,
That is good. And I love a man who is in tune with his physical appearance and his wellness. Do you work out? Do you still eat McDonald's? Those things are big for me. I haven't eaten fast food in 13 years.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So, are you a great cook? Are you a decent cook?
I'm a great cook.
All right.
I've had some Chick-fil-A here and there, but you couldn't pay me to eat anything chain like McDonald's, Burger King. I haven't had any of that in 13 years.
Wow. That's how you keep that beautiful skin and that figure. Oh, go girl.
Yeah. So, I need a man that takes care of his body and is in tune with his hygiene, it's a big thing. Well groomed. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Well groomed. Okay. And okay. Well, as we go there, as we get past this, what are you doing now as far as after the show, whether the show affected your life in a positive or negative way, but trying to get past that now regarding any business endeavors, your family's restaurant, and people reaching out to you on social media if you're interested, because you don't particularly care for social media, as you said. Okay,
so after the show, I will say I've had to dig really deep to find the positive and why I was led, why God allowed me to go through this process and for it to be so uncomfortable as it was. And one thing, what I've come to, because I'm in that healing phase, I told y'all, I have learned a lot about me as a person. And in regards to dating, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe keep your doors open a little bit longer. I kind of feel like I put maybe too much time and energy into Wiley, but I was reciprocating. That's what I do when I date. If a man tells me he just wants to be friends, I behave appropriately. If a man tells me we're dating with intention to get to know each other, maybe this can go somewhere, I behave appropriately. I have to pay more attention to actions and not just words in regards to dating. In regards to myself, I am not pleased with the way I went home. I'm not pleased with the way I was portrayed on TV, but it happened. I said what I said. I'm unapologetic about it, But it also brought me to a place that I have to get to a place where I am so centered and I am so calm and balanced that nothing can move me emotionally. I've been meditating for about 2 years. I strayed away from it. I am meditating daily. I am now taking yoga classes. I have become more self-aware because of this process. Big thing for me. So that is the positive I've gotten from this experience. And I've met some great people. In regards to social media, you can find me at Tiffany, at Tiff with an I on Instagram. I am open to being a little more invested in social media. But again, that's a process. This was a process I had to literally heal from. I was getting DMs being called all kinds of names, y'all.
What? For what reason?
Oh, you're a bitch. You're never going to get a man. You have a nasty attitude.
What?
Why were you so rude to Paul? I mean, I've had to block so many people.
Right. Yeah.
As if, wait a minute, I gotta say this. As if most of us viewers and bloggers weren't out here talking about Paul and his rude behavior on the first 2, 3, 4 episodes. He mellowed out as the season progressed, but a lot of people thought, every week, pretty much bloggers and viewers around the country were saying Paul should be next. Paul should be dismissed. Paul should be eliminated. So, you know.
Oh, I have been internet bullied. Let me tell you, I've gotten a lot of negative feedback. Oh, a lot of negative feedback. It's been rough. So, I know who I am, but I'm still a human, and these things were happening. I was not reading the comments or looking at the blogs. My sisters and my mom were like watching, and they weren't really telling me things. But there were times that comments caught my eye as I'm scrolling. I had to take a break. I had to take a break from social media because it was really bad.
So did Tory. He shut down his
It was really bad. You would be
Instagram.
surprised. Yeah, I had to block a lot of people.
Sure.
It's very taxing mentally, as Aubery said. Tory shut his down for a couple.
Yeah,
it's very taxing for you guys because you guys are going on trying to find dates, but you turn into celebrities, and that's the part you're not prepared for, because people love to either love or hate celebrities. That's what they live for. Yeah, I'm pretty used to it now. All is well. That the negative feedback has subsided, and I'm good. I'm in a good place mentally and emotionally. I had a rough time. I will be transparent and say, for a little while, it was rough. I have a great family, a great support system. So I was great. It's okay. What's your IG handle, Tiffany?
Tiff with an I on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. My business is _prolific learning. I'm the owner of a mobile educational service where we offer tutoring and homeschooling services all over to children all over the DMV. So that's doing really well. I'm currently also working as a specialist in a school in the DC area, in addition to my business right now. So that's thriving. I also do professional organizing. Thank you, Jeremy Speaks, for putting my handles in the chat. I am also a professional organizer, and believe it or not, I did go to school for it. I am certified in it. It is a form of therapy. I go in and help people who hoard or who just have clutter of shoes and purses and clothes for many years. It is a form of therapy for the people that I help. So that is
awesome.
Yes. I'm slowly building that business. I also dress up as Princess Tiana from Princess and the Frog, Disney's Princess and the Frog. I started that in 2014. I had a mother reach out to me and tell me that I look like Princess Tiana and would I dress as her at a birthday party. And I got into character. I watched the movie. I got into character. And I dress up. I read stories. And the little girls really think I'm a princess. They think I live in a castle and I have a prince. It's so cute. Right. Yeah. So it's very entertaining and it's really fun. It's something I do that's fun. You will be surprised The react, it's so fulfilling when the little girls really think I'm a princess. It's so cute.
I've seen it on your IG. And you do look like her. I was looking at the picture. I was like, wow, that is cool. That is, somebody said it best. Misha Allen said, yeah, wow, that is dope.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
That's awesome.
And
if
Tiffany,
it's okay with
I'm sorry, Aubery. I just want to get her parents, your family's name of the restaurant.
Oh, the restaurant, yes.
And the website, if they have one.
Yes, All Set Restaurant and Bar. It is on Fenton Street in Silver Spring, Maryland. Please go and check it out. You will love the ambiance. You will love the menu. Let's see. It's allsetrestaurantandbar.com. Check out our reviews. We have great reviews. We're a 4 to 5 star restaurant. You should check us out. It is in downtown Silver Spring on Fenton Street.
Okay, excellent.
Right, we have another educator here in the house right now, Little Hurdler, who is goes by. And I normally tell people don't look at the comments, but this one you can. She's just saying that she wants to reach out to you, Tiffany. Keep doing the great work in education. She's also an educator, so definitely you two make a connection. I can say she's one of our loyal and faithful and regulars here. She's a very good-hearted person, so definitely when she reaches out to you, you guys can make that connection. And if you don't mind, so later on, if you can give me the links or some of the information, I can try to bring it back here and put it in the description so that when people come to this video that'll be set on YouTube, they can also find the things that you want them to find, right?
Yes, great. Yes, prolificlearning.org. Go check out my website, prolificlearning.org. And you can kind of get a gist of what I do. You can fill out the inquiry form and someone will reach out to you if you just want to kind of get a feel for what we do.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this, Tiffany, is one of my final thoughts. Pain with a purpose. As Maya Angelou said, you know, our lives are classrooms, and at our core, we're all teachers. And when we spoke to Aisha, she's very open about her relationship, her heartache, you know, with Dante and so forth. And you're being very transparent here. Through your pain, you guys' pain, you know, my pain, you know, Aubery's pain, all this, we're teaching people. And you're a professional educator. But even professional educators get hurt. You're still human. You still have broken hearts and all this kind of stuff. So those are lessons as well. And we can teach those coming behind us. Look for this stuff. This is we're not making this stuff up. This has happened to us. So when you see these things, take them to heart. Don't just think, oh, I'm not seeing that. I'm imagining things. It's not a red flag. It is. When I see certain behaviors, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. You know, I'm 50 plus because I know. You know, I've seen so much. So, you know, I just want you to know I appreciate you so much for being open and candid and having pain with a purpose and still looking lovely, beautiful, upstanding. You know, it hasn't destroyed you, not even close. So I could definitely appreciate that. Aubery?
Yeah, I want to thank Tiffany so much. Let me get my sound machine here. Hold on, because I had to put it down. I was so enthralled with the interview. I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and away from your interest and your hobbies and the things that you do and spending time, you know, with your family, your son. I want to really thank you for being here and giving us an honest, open look at what your journey was through before RTL, during RTL, and now afterwards. Now, are there any juicy tidbits you want to drop on us about this reunion? Is it gonna be spicy? Just nod your head. Blink twice.
Spicy, honey. I'm telling you. I don't know if you do wine or water before you watch it, but you're gonna need something.
Oh, okay. And there's 2 parts to the reunion this year, right?
It is 2 parts to the reunion this year. It is so much tea. It is so much to unpack.
Wow.
I can't wait, Tiffany. That look on your face. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Listen.
Can I ask one question? So they filmed the reunion. They film it really before the season is actually over. Is that how it's done, or is it done at the end of the season?
It is done in the middle of the season so that we don't reveal too much, and we don't know how production is going to air. What we know, we recorded.
Oh,
we filmed it in February, And you guys are just seeing it now, so.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Wow.
it was filmed in the middle of the season. So before everybody made it to decision day and said yay or nay. That's interesting. I don't understand why. I guess like production has their reason. I have to think that through when I'm off the air. But thank you for giving us that tidbit. We're definitely looking forward to it. And again, I just want to thank you for coming out, being our guest at our invitation. We hope to maybe, if you'd like to come back again, we could just talk. This channel deals with relationships and dating, so it doesn't have to be RTL related, or it could be RTL related. Ready to Love. You could come back and talk to us and be part of the panel as we cover the next season's RTL. So that's always fun because now you got a bird's eye seat to what these people went through, right?
Yes. I'm open. I'm open to coming back again if we can talk about something different. I would love to speak to our women, especially about finding yourselves and not losing yourself in a relationship, because I've done that before, and how we have to make sure that our mind, our body, and our soul stay aligned, and that we don't lose focus of who we are, because we're always pouring into other people and loving on everybody else. And I think self-love is big, and that's something I've learned the hard way, is that once you love here, everything else that's for you will just flow into your life. And I say that from speaking from experience. So I would love to come back, especially and speak to relationships, love, and empowering our women.
Absolutely.
Well, please do. Your family now, so please come back.
You absolutely are, and I will say that I did go and nab your guys' video, the one that you, Keena, Sabrina, and all the ladies were talking about your professional goals and accomplishments, and my audience absolutely loves it. So yes, we definitely want to bring you back to talk about career and relationships outside of RTL, just on its own.
I see a question from a fan. May I answer?
Okay, yeah. Tell me what the question. I'll try to find it. So put it on screen.
Which of the women I have a close relationship with?
Oh, go ahead and answer it, because I don't see it. There's so many here.
Ace and I talk almost every day. Talking about a beautiful soul. That's a beautiful soul right there. And Ace is fun. We're both 804 girls. We're both from Virginia. We both went to the same college. We have a lot in common, and we connect deeply on a spiritual level. But Ace that's my girl. I'm cool with everybody, but I'm close with Ace.
You know, it's funny because Ace to me seems to be the epitome of peace as I watched her throughout the season.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned earlier that you getting back into your meditation, I was actually going to ask you, are you friends with Ace? Do you keep in touch with Ace? Because I know it's funny that you say that. Unbelievable. But that's great. That's great. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, good. Maybe you can put in a good word for us that we're a safe space, and she can come here and talk to us and do an interview with us.
Okay, I will put a word in with Ace that I had a good time with you all. I'm sure she would. She's a sweetie. I'm sure she will.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you. I'm going to go ahead and you say your goodbye, and I want to drop you down so Alex and I can talk for just a minute to our audience, okay? And thank you again so much, Tiffany.
Thank you to everyone who was watching. I saw some comments from some sweet people. I don't remember your name. They said I look nice. They like my braids. I was reading. I was paying attention. Thank you so much. I appreciate the good vibes, the positive energy. Thank you, Aubery and Alex, for having me. Thank you for being patient with me. As you all were asking me to come on, I'm glad that I made the decision to interview with you all. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we'll be in touch for sure, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful Tiffany.
Okay. Wow. I tell you, I really, really like Tiffany. I've liked her since the DMs, and I'm even more enamored with her now. Just the her spirit, type of person that she is, the things that she's involved in.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love an educator? If you don't love an educator, I guess you don't love children and people in general.
Right, exactly. So yeah, please, Aubery, put her information as soon as you get a chance underneath when people get this video. because I want people to get to know her more, visit her family's restaurant, because we all about promoting, on here,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
businesses and people and positivity, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Well, let me say this. Speaking of Tiffany and enjoying her company, you've been missing for a few days too. So,
Yeah.
did you have a good time with your family and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm tired now, but I got the energy for. I was excited to speak to Tiffany, so I got the energy for that. But yeah, my family ran me ragged the last few days. There was a lot of eating, drinking, laughing, hugging, kissing, all that kind of stuff. We had a big cookout at my sister's over in Hampton yesterday. So
Oh,
yeah, it was.
wow.
And then as they made their exit today, it was a lot of
Was it was it kind of
sadness.
bittersweet? Did anybody tear up? Did you tear up, Alex?
I didn't tear up, but I'm always sad to see them leave. And my sister in Hampton and my brother Eric FaceTimed each other as they were exiting. Of course, she's very sad to see them go. And we just got to do these things more often. We have been better the last few years. I'll say that about my family. We have been better the last few years because you know how a lot of us are, Aubery. The family reunions are the funeral, you know, and we made a concerted effort not to do that anymore. We're just going to love on each other and spend time together as much as we can while we're still here above ground.
Absolutely. And I'm real impressed with your family because, you and I were talking back during the holidays and you guys spent a lot of time gathering, during the winter holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, it was
Right.
really nice to see a family that can come together, a large family at that.
Yeah.
See, I have a small family, but you are the opposite. Your family is very large, so
Right.
that's really awesome. Because I've seen where sometimes with larger families they can't come together because
Yeah.
this person's angry with that person, and it's a whole lot of family drama. But
Yeah. I
I
see
like
that a
the way,
lot.
yeah, I like the way you guys love on each other.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hopefully, it'll permeate to some other families and people can learn to forgive and just let stuff go and be there for one another, because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. That's all we really got.
Absolutely. You guys that are still here on the video, go ahead and give us that like. That really helps us in the algorithm. It's on sale today. It's free 99 again this week. Can you believe it?
I believe
You
it.
YouTube has not went up on the cost of likes, so go ahead and like the video. You're already watching it, so why not?
Free
And I
free
tell you another
99.
thing, you're watching it out there. You're not in the chat, which means you may not be a subscriber. You've been over here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 times. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm on the march to 1,000+ subscribers. Don't you want to be part of that? Don't you wanna? I know you do. So go ahead and subscribe, like the video. Um, we really thank you guys for rocking with us. So why don't you come back? We've got tomorrow. We have in the house again at 7 p.m. Who is it? You want to say her name?
Sure. We got AP Austin coming in the house. RTL Potomac.
AP Austin will be in the house. Hey, where's that sound machine when you need it?
The-
She'll be here
yeah.
to talk to us, and we're looking forward to it. So, guys, meet us back here, same place, same time, 7 p.m. And on Wednesday, we have a delayed, but still good, hot topics of Put a Ring on It by Own. We'll be doing a review recap, Alex and I. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. See you soon, guys.
Love you. Peace.
Peace.